Hello everyone, welcome back to Chemically Bonded. Now we're going to be starting the Kiyoko route, and I already went ahead and skipped all the way to the first impactful choice. So let's go ahead and choose Ask About Science. Asking about Naomi so casually doesn't seem like it'd be the best thing to do. If Kiyoko wanted me to know, she'd tell me, right? I hope that would be the case, but even so, I wouldn't want to create such an awkward situation in our first club meeting. Delving into such a topic doesn't seem like the right thing to do. I've only known her for about a day. So, why'd you like science? I asked the first thing that comes to mind. It's not much of a creative question, but Kiyoko cheerfully answers.
Because it's fun! Science isn't all about doing calculations and learning basic stuff. They don't let us do the fun stuff in class.
If what we do in class is her definition of basic, I'd love to know what she considers hard. Struggling with the subject myself, hearing that just makes me realize the differences between our intellects. It's clear that she's not someone to be messed with. On the other hand, I only find experiments fun because we get to mess around with the equipment. I guess I can relate, or maybe not. I'm only really here because I felt sorry for her. I can't say I have any actual interest in the theories behind what we do in class. Still, I can't say that I'm bored. In the idle time I've spent thinking, Kiyoko has gone silent, almost detached from the world around her.
There's something I want to talk about.
What is it? Are you going to tell me your favorite element?
No, it's not that.
Peering in her eyes, sadness stares back towards me. I guess now is not the time for jokes.
Please, forget about yesterday with Naomi. He's always been like that.
Kiyoko remained still, eyes directed downwards towards her shoes, delving into the topic in what I can only assume is an attempt to resolve the issues which arose yesterday. She probably wouldn't want me to ask myself. Alright. The only words to slip out of my mouth, admittedly, I don't think it helped to address the sense of awkwardness now filling the room. However, it's now apparent that Naomi is taking actions to upset Kiyoko. I'd hate to imagine what Kiyoko is feeling. The thought of someone doing that to her makes me sick. I guess now is a good time to change the topic. Kiyoko doesn't seem too happy talking about Naomi. It's understandable why.
Anyways, it's getting late. I'd rather not bore you. We can't do anything until tomorrow.
Kiyoko upholds her sorrowful expression as she makes note of the amber sky visible through the windows. Whether that's due to having to cut the club short or due to our conversation, it's unclear. It's okay. I'm looking forward to...
Determining the concentration of calcium carbonate in limestone?
That's what you were doing? I giggle. A cute and more than welcome one. It's a nice thing to end my first club meeting on, given the bleak aura we just escaped from. Kiyoko unsheathes her slender figure from her lab coat, resting it once again on a nearby chair. I feel as if she's the only one who actually comes here outside of class. She has free reign to use all the equipment without a care in the world. That is, besides Naomi. They both stroll out of the lab together. She walks swiftly to my side, now almost as happy as when she was when we first arrived. Wait, aren't you going to put the equipment back?
Oh, that? They won't care if I leave it there for tomorrow.
I'll trust her on that. Greeted by the late afternoon skies above, just as yesterday, we now stand before the school gates ready to depart. Spending time with her has certainly been fun. I'd really consider her a friend. Before you ask, I will come tomorrow.
How did you know?
Because, like me, she enjoys spending time with someone after school. It could have been anyone, but I'm happy I made the decision to join her. Because science is fun, right?
Right.
Kiyoko leaves me with a friendly wave as we bid each other farewell. The two of us now setting off home in this warm spring evening. It's that friendly wave I want to be able to see more often. The emotion of happiness. I don't want Naomi to bother her. I don't want her to be unhappy, to feel that way anymore. The creaking sound of my bedroom door makes its way to my ears as I take a step inside my room. My feet tap against the hardwood floor as I make my way inside towards my chair. Besides my own movement and sounds, the house is silent, save for sounds of traffic and the wider world outside my window. Finding myself alone at this time of day is still an odd experience. My parents having left to enjoy their once-in-a-blue-moon evening meal. At least now, with this peace, I don't find myself berated by them for not cleaning my room or doing schoolwork. Maybe I have it easy. I could be berated for not bringing girls home from school instead, but having to hear about cleaning is still as exasperating. I had a hard enough time yesterday on cleaning duty, which is why I'm grateful to Kiyoko for deciding to help me out in the end. Even if I had to join the science club in the process, it's not as if I mind though. It's certain to say that I'm finding the club enjoyable, or rather, being around Kiyoko herself is what's fun. I can't call science a selling point. Her quirky nature is almost captivating, given that she's never really opened herself up to me in class. It's funny to think that I once thought of her as a quiet, reserved girl. She seems to get so excited about almost everything. Though I know that there's more to her than meets the eye. Her reluctance to delve into the topic of Naomi is more than concerning. Even if she did tell me not to go into it, getting choked earlier today wasn't a pleasant experience. I'm no masochist, but I guess there'd be plenty of guys who wanted to be in my shoes. However, it's clear that something is going on between the two of them. And if what I've seen is to believe, then I can't help but think that there's a real possibility of Naomi bullying Kiyoko. Standing around and letting that happen would just make me feel disgusted about myself. Dealing with Naomi further isn't in my interest either, given her a less than stellar introduction. If I don't confront her, who will? An ill-matched chuckle escapes my mouth as I dwell on my thoughts. I'm not Kiyoko's knight in shining armor. But then again, I'm no asshole either. By this point, I can consider her my friend. And letting this ordeal continue isn't what a friend would do. I'll just have to talk to Naomi, no matter how fond we are of each other. Stretching back in my chair, the phone on my desk vibrates as I peer towards it. Whoever it is, they picked the perfect time to get in touch. Being at home alone sure is boring. It's not like I'd be speaking to my parents much anyway. Picking up my phone, I tilt it towards me to read the notification lit across the screen. One new message, from a familiar name at that. Kiyoko? It's reasonable to think that she's tried texting me eventually. We did exchange numbers, so I shouldn't be that surprised. Still, I'm not sure what she'd want at this time of day, but there's no sense in not responding to her. Firming my grasp around it, I bring the phone closer to my eyes to read the message on the screen. As opposed to abbreviations or slang, Kiyoko's message is typed neatly before me. She didn't seem like the type of person to send, "You're coming to the club tomorrow, right?" So it's not too surprising. What's even less surprising is the message itself. That is, her eagerness to check on whether I'd be attending the club or not. Despite being a member, I guess she still doesn't have the confidence to believe that someone has actually joined her club. That alongside the amount of time she presumably spent alone there. In terms of club activities, we didn't do much today, besides touching on a sensitive issue for her. Perhaps she's worried I might have found it boring. If so, I should probably respond. It's not as if I don't enjoy talking to her too. I don't know if she expects me to tell her that I won't go one of these days. I might not do anything in the club, but I can safely say I've enjoyed it so far. The thought of turning my back on Kiyoko has never gone through my head, particularly after the way she almost begged me to join the club. Despite being intelligent, she makes it seem as if she has memory problems. Or, more likely, the fact that someone had actually joined has kept her excited. She did spend so much time as the sole member, so it's granted that she's giddy about having a clubmate. I don't know whether I've upset her, but she doesn't send any further messages. Reaching out to place my phone back upon my desk, however, the sun ringing startles me. Is she actually calling me? Putting the phone against my ear, it soon becomes apparent that Kiyoko isn't exactly pleased about our conversation.
Hey! Of course. I'd have to check if you're coming. You're in the club, aren't you? It's my responsibility as club captain.
I don't think any club captains regularly text their members to check if they're coming, especially if it's just me and her. Of course I'm going. You don't need to ask.
Well, I wanted to. I found some more phenolphthalein indicator too, so we can finally do that experiment.
You know what? I think she did mention something about it today. Do you just have that stuff laying around your house?
As if you don't.
I don't think any normal high school student would have... whatever that is, around their house. At least she's happy about it. To be honest, I was looking forward to seeing her at work. The look of concentration in her eyes when I first walked in on her is fascinating. The look of ambition. It's something I admire, someone with no real ambitions. Seeing her eyes sparkle as she experiments intrigues me.
Anyway, I need to go. Just promise you'll come.
I promise. I feel as if I'll be getting used to saying those words to her.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, Kiyoko. The line falls silent as my phone remains adjacent to my ear. Frankly, the experience of talking to a girl at the school like this is new to me. That is, talking about my obligations to watch engrossed in experimentation. Still, being able to freely speak to Kiyoko like this after only a few days makes me happy. It only makes me wonder how long she had to deal with being alone in the club, particularly with the issue of Naomi. To be able to converse freely with her, to be friends with her, I can't call that a bad thing. All I need to do now is to get a better understanding of the situation. Talking to Naomi again is the only way to do that. After placing the phone back on my desk, I lean back once again in my chair. I'm still at odds into finding something to keep me occupied. I could conform to cliches and resist doing my homework, but getting it done now isn't an unreasonable thing to do. It's not as if I have anything else planned otherwise. Besides thinking about Kiyoko and Naomi, frankly, I don't think doing that is healthy. I'll just have to sort things out tomorrow, even if that risks getting strangled again. Rays of light from the afternoon sun seep through the windows across the room as the class lethargically relaxes, the school day approaching its end. All that's left is one final class, and I can't be the only one here counting down the seconds until it's over. Most will head home, however in my case, I get to engross myself in the science club after school. It's something I can look forward to, at least. Kiyoko too is still more than thrilled about having me go. Despite asking yesterday, I wasn't surprised to find her more than keen to stop me before lunch to give me a quick reminder. Maybe after today she'll ease up on it, and actually do any real club activities. That and I've only been there twice, counting our introduction. However, besides enjoying my time with Kiyoko, I'm starting to feel as if I'm attending for another reason. Naomi Sato. No matter how much I might like her, or well liked she is around the school, I still find it odd that anyone would have an issue with Kiyoko. Being the school's idol just makes the scenario even more peculiar. Kiyoko doesn't want me to get into it, but I can't find myself turning back on it. On her. It's strange.
Hey, Natsumi, what class is next? We have chemistry, Chitose. How could you forget? You hate it, don't you? Don't remind me.
Overhearing a conversation behind me, it seems as if I'm in for an interesting hour. Kiyoko is probably ecstatic at the thought. That is, I think so. However, peering towards her tells me a different story. As she neatly packs away her bag to join the class on the trip to the lab, her expression remains pretty stoic, at least for someone as expressive as her. Thinking back, Kiyoko did leave her experiment set up yesterday. I wonder if she'll have to set it up again, now that we'll be using the lab. I'll just have to ask her. I'd be pretty pissed if I had to set it up again because of a teacher dismantling it. My legs ache as I lift myself from my chair. I should probably make my way out too, now that everyone else is just about ready to leave. Walking out into the corridor, I'm welcomed by a sight of Kiyoko apparently waiting for me to lead the class.
Come on, we're in the lab. We can't just stay behind once it's finished. Don't you want to do the experiment?
How are we supposed to do it if we have a class first? Wouldn't the teacher just take down what you did yesterday?
It'll be fine. They let me do what I want for some reason.
I guess it's because if they don't, they might think her performance on tests will drop. She's probably the one putting the school on the academic map.
Now, let's go.
Kiyoko turns and walks ahead, trailing behind the rest of the class making their way to the science lab. I swiftly follow behind, watching as her arms sway to and fro as she poodles her way beside me, us now heading to class together. We enter the labs and instinctively I attempt to make my way to the back of the class, albeit stopped by Kiyoko.
Hey!
Kiyoko pulls against my sleeve, almost dragging me to the chair beside her right at the front of the class. Her actions don't go unheeded, as a few glances trace their way towards us. Again, given Kyoko's status around her, I'd be just as surprised if she suddenly yanked a classmate to sit with her. Luckily enough, it just had to be me.
I don't like science.
What? Then why'd you create the science club? Unexpectedly, she bellows out to me.
No, not science. Science, the class. Why would I like it when all they teach is kid stuff? Do I look like a kid to you?
I mean, she is considerably shorter than me, and her face is pretty childlike, and that's without considering her... well... No, you don't. I shouldn't go into it. However, her apathy for the subject isn't too surprising. Thinking about it, as the school's most intelligent student, I guess that being stuck behind with everyone else isn't fun. If she feels this way about high school chemistry, maybe she feels the same way with the other subjects. Maybe the science club is the only place where she can enjoy herself. The lesson slowly continues, with Kiyoko not sparing time to give her opinion in the class.
Why are we using cheap plastic pipettes? These should have volumetric ones.
Maybe the school's on a budget.
Why are we using paper pH indicators? It's not even accurate.
Don't ask me.
Why can't we use the Bunsen burners? What's the point of buying them if we can't even use them?
She sure does everything against the class, it seems. Soon enough, however, Kyoko's dreams come true as the class finishes with us writing down results for the experiments that we did together. Still, despite not enjoying it, Kyoko's work is as detailed and as neat as I'd imagine. If she's into this something she hates, then the club activities today should be interesting. Idling around, the two of us remain at the front of class as people around us filter out towards and through the door. Quickly, found ourselves alone again in what is now the science club.
I'm glad that's over.
But I thought you liked science.
But that's basic stuff. It's like asking if you like cake and only giving a spoonful. And it's not even chocolate or strawberry. It's just plain cake. How could anyone call that good?
I'm not sure I entirely relate with her analogy, but I can see how she'd find it frustrating. It's weird to think that I could probably ask her something and she'd give me the presumably correct answer. When did the Heian period start?
794.
I'll trust that she's right. I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but it's believable enough. Anyway, we should probably get started with this experiment. It's a phrase I didn't think I'd find myself saying, but the reaction on Kiyoko's face is more than enough to prove it was right the thing.
Right.
Kiyoko trots across the room to retrieve the delicate construction set assigned by our teacher. I should probably help her out. Looks a bit too big for her to carry by herself. Let me give you a hand. I take hold of the clamp snare which had previously found itself balanced upon a fast, tucked into Kiyoko's stomach. She's probably used to haphazardly handling the equipment, but I don't want to take the risk of any accident.
Thank you.
Carrying the mess of apparatus to the nearby desk, I leave Kiyoko to finish arranging the setup as I stand back in awe. It's the sort of ambition I've been looking forward to seeing. How she delicately places each test tube in an appropriate rack, tracing each inch of the desk with her eyes to ensure everything is right. It's fascinating to think someone could be so engrossed in this, but she is.
There. Done.
Proudly standing before creation, Kiyoko puffs out her chest with pride, taking a step back to look at the work of art before her. So, what now?
Now's when the fun starts. We can finish from where we left off.
Reaching into her pocket, Kiyoko pulls a small, unmarked glass bottle, smiling at her own reflection as the sunlight meets it. Are you sure that's safe? You aren't wearing the goggles either. I might not be the scientist, but I do have a sense of safety. Without any heed, Kiyoko reaches her arm out towards the set up before her.
Don't worry, it will be fine. Now, where were we?
In an instant, the sound of breaking glass reaches my ears, shortly followed by a puff of smoke filling the space around me. My body jolts back away from the scene before I realize Kiyoko is still standing there. Are you alright? Kiyoko emerges from the cloud, walking around the smoke with her arms.
I'm fine. That wasn't supposed to happen.
You're not hurt, are you? The smoke clears, giving more definition to the expression of woe coating the face before me.
No, but look.
As I follow her gaze downwards, a pink stain stands against the blue and white of her attire. Whatever shadow must have splashed her.
I can't go home like this.
She looks like she's ready to burst into tears. You don't have a spare change of clothes, do you? We didn't have gym class today, so I guess she's stuck as she is. Kiyoko doesn't respond, causing me to look towards her, now tucking away into her school bag. Don't tell me.
Ta-da! You thought I wasn't prepared, didn't you?
holding up a pink shirt before me, complete with a little image of an atom drawn on top. Kiyoko smiles as she nods towards the door.
I need to get changed.
Oh, right. Sorry. Taking my cue, I turn around and head out into the corridor, leaving Kiyoko to change out of her school clothes. Still kind of odd that she had used casual clothes laying around in her bag. First there was the soda, and now this. She sure is full of surprises. Besides the ambient sound of club activities, the corridor is silent enough for me to hear Kiyoko moving around inside. Stray dust dances around in the air as I wait for her to call me inside. Rather than a call, a panicked yelp makes its way out from the inside. Swiftly, my body turns and pushes the door open on instinct. Are you okay? As my vision adjusts to light, Kiyoko stands embraced by the evening sun, in nothing but her bra and panties. Her figure is surprisingly athletic, now that I can see it. She must train a lot outside of school, when she isn't doing science, that is. Her skin too, free from blemishes, as her mouth shines as a light sweat glistens from the sunlight behind her. As for her choice of fashion, small blue bows stand out upon her rather plain white underwear. Wait, why am I just standing here staring? Kiyoko too remains frozen, still clutching her hands to her hair with a bewildered look, one which soon changes to a pang of embarrassment, now that she realizes what I'm seeing.
What are you?
Her face, not reddened, is just one of many sights laid out before me. Sorry. I guess she's okay after all. I probably won't be after she's finished changing.
You can come back in.
Embarrassment still spilling from her voice, Kiyoko calls out from inside the lab. Maybe it'll be best if I explain myself. Now adorned in casual clothing, Kiyoko faces me with the same sense of embarrassment coating her face. Cheeks still rosy, as she averts her gaze away from mine. Sorry about that. I heard you scream and I thought you'd hurt yourself.
It's okay. Thanks for the concern. It's my fault for not being careful. I almost fell over.
Well, thankfully everything is okay. At least she is. The room is still a mess. Shards of broken glass lay on the floor, coated in whatever chemical was originally inside. Kiyoko's eyes quickly follow mine downwards as we both stay still, starting at the scene. It looks like she will be cleaning things together once again.
It was my fault. I'll clean it. You should go home.
Are you sure? I'd be happy to help. Kiyoko, reverting her gaze towards me, shakes her head and sighs softly. She must feel bad about messing up her experiment. Picking up my bag, I leave her behind as I head towards the door. However, before leaving, there's one last thing I need to address. I will be coming tomorrow.
Oh. Right.
Maybe the joke has lost its effect, but Kiyoko seems to trust me enough now that she no longer needs to ask. For both of us, the Science Club has become routine. Even after a short amount of time, I'm enjoying it enough to stay here. Kiyoko too seems to be enjoying it herself. That in itself makes me happy. Departing with a wave, I make my way through the corridor set on my journey home. The sounds of club activity still strongly ambient through the grounds, provides subtle distractions as my feet meet the ground, casting shadows in the evening sunlight. I can't help but smile. A slight breeze meets my face as I idle beneath the looming evening sky, rustling my hair as I begin strolling across the school grounds. The scene before me is picturesque, its sight filled by the mild, usually unnoticed jitters of the world. Leaves swaying in the wind, cars passing by on the road ahead, and a lone girl lingering by the school gates. As she stands there, ever so oblivious to the world around her, perhaps her heart races as she waits for the one she loves. Maybe she's just waiting for a few of her friends, club members, late to leave. Anyone who isn't in the club would have to wait around for them to finish. However, truth be told, I know exactly who this girl is. I can't help but admit that I've been wanting to see her here too. No, she's not waiting around for the love of her life. She isn't waiting for friends either. This girl, heading towards me with a sharp glare, is a person I'm quite familiar with from the get-go. Naomi Sato. Feigning ignorance, albeit in a rather noticeable way, I turn my head back to ensure that she's not walking towards someone behind me. With the empty yard staring back to me, I know that's not the case.
I was waiting for you, idiots.
Of course, I haven't missed her rude and condescending voice. Hey, what do you want?
I thought I told you to stay away from Kiyoko. Are all guys really this dumb?
Luckily for me, she's keen on following up with her threat from before. That and insulting me all the while. Despite it, both of us had the same person in our mind, Kiyoko. However aberrant she thinks I am, maybe I can talk some sense into her. To think that she's this fussed over Kiyoko, there must be some reasoning behind that. What's your issue with Kiyoko? Can't you just leave her alone? I can't help but raise my voice. Talking to her calmly will be harder than I thought, given my perceptions. I can't go as far as accusing her of bullying Kiyoko, but defending a girl I now consider my friend is a natural thing I should do. A week ago, I wouldn't have imagined myself in a situation like this. The feelings I had then have long since fleeted. For once, I can consider myself to have a place here within the science club, even without knowing where that place is in relation to the world around me. I can't just stand by and accept this.
I don't have an issue with her. You wouldn't understand.
As Naomi begins to speak, I return her expression of melancholy with a pensive one of my own.
You think there's something going on between us, don't you?
She's smarter than she looks.
You wouldn't be wrong, but it's not what you think. Then again, I doubt if you can think.
Hey! It's like she's trying to piss me off and quell my anger at the same time. Whether I can't believe what she's saying, I don't know. I've solidified my stance enough not to trust her words that easily.
Clearly you've gotten yourself involved into this now. You want to know the truth, right?
By that, you're saying you're willing to tell me.
Of course I am, dumbass! Otherwise, you'd just think I'm bullying Kiyoko or something.
What with all the insults, she doesn't make her case any more believable. So, what is it?
It's hard to explain. If you want to know, meet me here tomorrow after I've had some time to think. But you'd have to skip the science club for that, wouldn't you?
Standing there with a smug grin plastered across her face, can't help but dislike her just a little more than I already do. Disregarding the insults and rudeness, she does seem to be acting somewhat sincerely. Given that if I object, she probably won't tell me again, maybe hearing her out wouldn't be a waste of my time. On the other hand, abandoning Kiyoko slyly like that doesn't make my situation any better. Upsetting her would just make me feel bad. I can't allow myself to be manipulated like this. It's really not what I think. She'd have no problems telling me here and now. Rather, allowing her to do so after she told me to stay away from Kiyoko, just take me out of the science club, isn't exactly the wisest thing to do. I can't just walk out on Kiyoko like that. Weren't you the one who told me to stay away from her?
That's because...
I'm not going to skip the club for you.
Fine! Suit yourself! You'll find out eventually. It's been bothering you, hasn't it?
I didn't think I was that readable, but I was surprised to see her here after all. Naomi herself is overly keen on getting me to understand things from her point of view too, so things aren't one-sided. She wants me to understand her. She's going to have to be pretty open about it.
I'll be here again tomorrow if you change your mind.
Naomi leaves me the sharp glare, turning around to head off to school grounds. It'd be wrong to deny that I wanted to hear what she had to say, but abandoning Kiyoko to do so would be wronging me as her friend. Couldn't bring myself to do it. The evening sky glows above as the sun begins to fall. It cannot be above as the mild spring air blows against my face. All I can do is believe I made the right choice. Part of me still feels that hearing her out might have broken the deadlock of my thoughts.
Hey, what are you still doing here?
A faint yet cheerful voice makes itself distinct behind me as I remain still in the schoolyard. I must have been standing for a while. Turning to face her, Kiyoko's usual chirpy expression shines in the evening sunlight as wind rustles her silky, flowing hair. I just felt a bit queasy and wanted a short rest.
Are you okay? It's been about 15 minutes.
I should be fine. Ending my sentence with a smile, she too curls her lips into one of reassurance.
Don't overdo yourself. You have to make it in tomorrow, right?
That's right. Her words make me reflect on my choices, which still fill me with doubt. Standing here with a bright smile across her face, Kiyoko is oblivious to my involvement in the situation around her. Sooner or later, the truth of the matter will be made manifest as our friendship continues. It's hard not to believe that Kiyoko too must be feeling it inside her. Her relation to Naomi is too apparent to ignore. My role in it, though, is unclear. I can't help but feel as if I'm now a part of it.
It's getting pretty late.
She's not wrong, but acknowledging the time is just an easier thing than directly suggesting we should go. For a quarter of an hour, I've just been standing here facing the issues surrounding the two of us.
What are you doing just standing there? Come on!
Kiyoko's already trotted along ahead during my inner monologuing. I can't leave her happy smile like that waiting. I'm coming! Jeez. Trailing along behind her, We reached the main gates together and thus facing the time up for our departures. The day itself has been enjoyable in more ways than one. I'll see you tomorrow, Kiyoko.
Goodbye. Have a great evening.
I'm not planning on doing much, but one doesn't fall on deaf ears. With a mutual set of smiles and parting waves, we head home beneath the evening sunlight in opposite directions. Another day finished. I'll have to think about it all later. Swinging the door open to enter my room, a mild breeze wafts through from the window, rustling around the loose papers strewn across my desk. Without a care, I sling my bag onto the bed beside me, opting to take a seat at my desk once again. Quite an eventful day. It's safe to say a rest like this is well deserved. It's not as if I don't have any work to do. What with Naomi's demands and Kyoko's, well.
What are you?
Sorry. From the outside, Kiyoko didn't seem like she had much shape to her, but had to sing her like that. Besides that, the science club itself was rather enjoyable. It's certainly a change from what I was used to. Finding something to take interest in has distracted me from my own uncertainties. Still, with Naomi in my case, maybe there's a lot more to being involved with Kiyoko than I thought. By choosing to stay with Kiyoko, I've chosen not to get involved with the issues surrounding her and Naomi, at least for now. Something within me wants to find out what exactly caused this situation, and what my role in it is. Either way, the problem itself isn't going to disappear. As much as there is two sides to every story, part of me is reluctant to trust Naomi just yet. Whether that was wise, I'll just have to find out. It's not too late to change my mind. By doing so, I'll become a part of something I only stumbled upon by chance. Gathering the scattered papers from around my desk, I feel that the time has come to at least try to get work done, even if I dislike it. The sounds of daily life outside acting as a melodical backdrop to my own existence. It really isn't that special. Placing pen upon paper, the chimes of ring reaches out from my phone, causing me slight alarm. I don't normally expect people to actually call me in the era of messaging and social media. Bringing the phone closer, it's no surprise who the calling culprit is. Honestly, it was fairly predictable. It's tempting to answer it, but honestly she chose the worst time to call. I'm fairly busy right now. This work actually needs to be done. It's not like I don't want to speak to her, but I'm sure with her intellect she ought to do some work too. At least I think so. It's hard to gauge how much work she actually does, considering she seems to know almost everything.
Hello.
Hey. Her response, rather apathetic, contrasts her own usual bright attitude. I wonder what she wants.
Did you enjoy the club today?
Kyoko's question, a rather simple one to answer normally, feels a bit wrong to answer today. Given the situation she'd found herself in earlier, being overly enthusiastic about it might give her the wrong idea. On the other hand, saying I didn't enjoy it would both upset her and be a lie too. I don't know how to answer.
It was good, right?
Yeah. Following her prompts on the other hand surely won't get me into trouble. I wasn't talking about that.
It's a joke.
It's rather odd that she's now finding humor out of the situation. Given her reaction earlier, thankfully she's not one to hold a grudge, even if I went in thinking she'd hurt herself.
But really, you're not a pervert, are you?
No, I'm not. Maybe she still is a little worked up about it after all. But then again, what girl wouldn't be?
Good. I'm glad you're enjoying the club. I'm enjoying it too.
She sounds happy, almost embarrassed even, but I can't really tell what sort of expression she's making. However, it's granted that she feels this way. With spending that much time looking for members alone, I guess she's finally had the chance to live her dream of the club. Even though technically we'd still need another 3 members. If she's enjoying it this much, I can't say declining Naomi's offer to Ben and Kiyoko was a truly bad choice. Staying in the dark about a topic I shouldn't be even be involved in is nothing to complain about. If I'm with her, then Naomi can't really do much herself.
Having another member, it's nice. Even if you're not interested in science. So, thank you.
Graciously thanking me, Kyoko trails off into silence. A brief moment to reflect on her words. I think it's nice too. I would be doubting my choices if I didn't. It's not as if I'm not interested. I'm just not that clever.
Neither am I. But science is everything to me.
I don't think I can come up with a bigger understatement. Still, I am pretty interested.
What's the atomic mass of palladium then?
Questioning me, it seems that Kiyoko has forgotten that I just told her I'm not at all clever. I don't see how quizzing me proves whether or not I'm interested. I don't know, 40?
You had 2 digits right. But I'll forgive you this time.
What was it then?
106.4.
I wouldn't call that getting them right.
It's okay though. I'll just have to make you like science.
Cheerfully ending her sentence with a laugh. Can't tell but feel a little bit fearful at that. Trying to be good friends with science. For her to say it though, claim of happiness from having a fellow member certainly sounds true. Something we can both share. Having something to do after school, being able to attend the club, it's nice. Maybe I can share our ambition.
Anyway, I have to go. Dinner's ready.
I was in the middle of doing work anyway, so it's alright, Kyoko. I'm not sure whether that sounds rude or not, but it is the truth. Closing out to it anyway, just planning on working.
You're not doing work? But this is important.
The only reason I'm not doing it is because you called me. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, Kiyoko.
Goodbye.
Now silent, the phone rests against my ear as I take a minute to reflect on our conversation. The evening sun seeps through my window, warming my cheeks ever so slightly. It's clear that the Science Club is close to Kyoko's heart. One small room and 2 people, even though I didn't intend to join. After all, I only told her I'd try it out. Now I think we both feel that anything different would feel out of place. Resting my phone back against my desk, I lean back in my chair, as indifferent to doing work as I was before Kyoko's call. Choosing to stay with Kiyoko isn't at all anything to feel bad about. When you're down after hearing an outburst of happiness like that would make me feel bad. However, I can't deny that there's tensions between her and Naomi. Can't deny wanting to know either. That's something that's bugging me.
I thought you were here to join the science.